Servus Freunde, my name is ewig. Verdammt, Buddymeister, was ist jetzt schon wieder los? Alter, hau ab! Hau jetzt ab, du Lump! Ah!
जीना यहाँ मरना यहाँ इसके सिवा जाना कहाँ जीना यहाँ मरना यहाँ.
Servus Freunde, MERA NAAM JOKER.
And I'm Deniz, the Buddymeister.
We have reviewed over 500 Indian movies on the channel, and once a month all of our awesome supporters can vote in a poll what we should watch and review next. The new poll is already up, and this time they can choose between 3 Kamal Haasan films. The last poll was of course all about films directed by Raj Kapoor, and the winner, as you can see, is MERA NAAM JOKER. MERA NAAM JOKER, which translates to My Name is Joker or Clown, is a 1970 Hindi language romantic drama that was directed, edited and produced by Raj Kapoor, who also stars as the titular Joker. Buddymeister, who's also in the movie, and what is the story all about?
Besides Raj Kapoor, in this movie are
Yes.
Simi Garewal, Rishi Kapoor in his first role.
Yes.
Ksenia Ryabinkina, Padmini, Dharmendra and Manoj Kumar. Yeah, have you already said it? The movie took like 6 years to make, and Raj Kapoor invested pretty much
A lot of his own money.
a lot of his own money, mortgaged his house and everything just to make this movie, and it was a big failure at the box office and
was a big
almost
failure.
bankrupted his whole production company and everything he built up to that point. But as we know, he he got back on track with
He
his next
recovered.
movie.
Yeah, I think his next movie was Bobby.
Bobby with Rishi Kapoor.
With his son in the lead role.
Yeah, and he like...
And I'm not sure if he made another movie where he was the star. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think he was starring after that, but not in as a leading
man.
Yeah, but So MERA NAAM JOKER is the story of Raju. Now, first I have to say the synopsis is like a little bit. Listen, MERA NAAM JOKER is the story of Raju, a joker, a clown. It unfolds in 3 chapters, from his school days to the circus to the streets. And no matter how unhappy he is within, he must always make people laugh and be happy.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's okay?
Yes,
Okay,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's.
could also say this is just the story of a man from his school days to his old days, how he became a clown, and all that happened in between.
Yeah, but I think that's the essence. That
Okay,
he's unhappy, but he still is an entertainer. He's an artist, and he wants to make people happy. And I've read that it's like kind of semi-autobiographical. So there's a lot of stuff in there that happened to Raj Kapoor himself. With a runtime of 4 hours and 4 minutes, this is one of the longest Indian movies ever made. Yeah, there's only really like a handful of other movies that's longer than this one. I think only like 3 or 4 movies are longer than this one. So 4 hours and 4 minutes. And it's actually so long that Raj Kapoor put 2 intervals in it, which only happened twice in the history of Indian cinema. The other time was in another Raj Kapoor film in Sangam, which was an earlier film. 6 years in production, you already said that. Also, there are a lot of Soviet actors took part in this one. And in the Soviet Union, it was split into 3 movies. So basically, every chapter was released as its own kind of film. It works. I mean, the first chapter
of course
is a
it works, but
little
it's kind
bit
of strange
shorter.
to see like 3 movies that are 70 minutes. 80 minutes, but it's okay.
But 80 minutes, that's okay. And I think they were released in the same year probably, so you don't have to wait like a year or longer.
Okay.
Over the years, it became a very beloved cult classic and is now regarded as one of Raj Kapoor's best films. But back then, like you said, it was a failure, which also meant that Raj Kapoor wasn't able to produce a sequel. And this will be a spoiler review. I mean, the movie is more than 50 years old. It's very beloved. I think everyone knows it. But at the end of this movie, it's kind of an open end.
Yeah.
I mean, the story works for itself, but it's kind of open-ended. And the very last text on the screen is like, positively not the end. And then, yeah, it's the end because there wasn't a second part. And I think he wanted to do 3 other chapters.
Okay.
And yeah, because when you watch it, it appears that now he's back in the lives of these 3 women, and they can maybe reconnect, and I don't know.
Yeah, but I also felt like it was also an ending that worked.
It worked
in itself,
yeah.
And I didn't and don't like need a sequel, but of course it would have worked for me. I like the positively not the end. I just read it like
his life is
positive
over.
message, a positive message at the end. So yeah, maybe a positive ending, but also this theme that like runs through the whole movie. So yeah, even in the end, you just have to stay positive. You have to be happy, even if you're not. Yeah. So maybe he is in the end, but yeah, the whole movie is like this. The whole movie, actually, and I was looking it up. I thought like, is this Raj Kapoor's last movie? Because the whole movie like from beginning feels like his swan song, his farewell. Yeah. But of course, it wasn't his last movie. He lived like for another. I mean, he didn't live that long, sadly, but he lived another, I think he died in 86 or something. So it's 16 years after this movie, but the whole thing felt like, okay, this is my story, this is how I felt. Yeah, because also we have this, we were getting into it, but there's also like this meta element where we see snippets of old movies. I think it's Shri 420. Yeah. So all this felt like, okay, this is my story and this is how I'm going to exit the business or something like this,
which is great, but a little bit unfortunate for us because we haven't seen that many Raj Kapoor movies, so it would have been better if we know his career better. This was only our second one, I think. We only watched Avada,
which is like one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah, when we watched Avada a few years ago, I think I can speak for both of us that it was kind of a revelation. It was such an awesome film, such a great, powerful, expressive film. And and it's also referenced in this one because there's a song in this one.
The song,
Avada Hoon that's playing at the end of the second chapter, I think, in this one.
Yeah.
And Avada was a revelation for me. And when I started watching MERA NAAM JOKER, I have to say, like the first maybe 70 minutes or so, this was also a revelation for me. Yeah? I thought the first chapter was like, for me, kind of perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, and we will talk about that, but maybe first overall impression of the movie. I assume you liked it.
I liked it, yes. I liked it. I think it's like, because I've read a lot about it after I've seen it and read like misunderstood masterpiece and things like, I can totally understand why this is like a misunderstood movie, probably misunderstood because of the way it's presented, because of these 3 parts, 2 intervals, over 4 hours, and like we're in 1970, so I guess this was like, even we get like these 60s movies, 70s movies that were like aiming in a different direction. Yeah. And to tell a story like this with this like psychosocial background of an artist who has like who's always to be happy in the front. Yeah, I guess it wasn't like for the masses for the masses. I liked it, but I also had like as much as I wanted to, I couldn't really get into this story, couldn't identify myself with it, feel connected to this whole tragedy. There were some parts in it where I could do that, but most of the time I was just like more in awe of how it looked and how it was shot and how charming Raj Kapoor is. Yeah. And like this story, because the overall story over time, it works with these 3 parts and the different women and men that he like gets to know. But yeah, overall, this connection, it didn't click with me because normally I'm a guy that totally likes these movies that span over so many decades, where you can see a character growing up from his childhood to his old age, maybe even his death. And in this one, I so much wanted this feeling to now I'm the old guy is back in his circus. I got it a little bit, but not as much as I wanted to. So I really liked it, but it's not the revelation that it was for you.
Okay. Yeah. The revelation part mostly goes for the first chapter.
Okay.
Because while I liked chapter 2 and 3 quite a bit, but it began to drag.
Okay.
I mean, it's 4 hours
it's really long.
And I think the second chapter in the circus, I think it's best if we just go through the movie chronologically.
Let's talk about the first chapter.
Let's talk about the first chapter. The funny thing about the first chapter is that Raj Kapoor isn't even in it. I mean, we have a little prologue, which already, like, the presentation is awesome. Thankfully, this is a movie that's available in good quality, and the colors,
Technicolor beauty.
The colors were amazing, and just the beginning with the clown, who is the doll, who is reappearing again and again. How it's in front of complete pitch black and it's kind of surrealistic, and then we have the prologue in the circus, and then like this, the opening credits are over these mass scenes outdoors, and it was so big and the scale is so huge, and I was really impressed by the production design. And then we get the first chapter, and the first chapter shows us him as an outsider pupil still in high school, played by his son Rishi Kapoor. And like you said, this was the debut of Rishi Kapoor. We only know him from Luck by Chance, right? Or was it
Luck by Chance? Or
was it the other one?
We've seen him Luck by Chance as the movie producer. Maybe we have seen him in some other movie because
yeah, probably.
You can't get around the Kapoor.
Yeah, but
Kapoor
dynasty. Yeah, but I was really taken by him. I was really surprised how much I enjoyed his performance. And this whole first chapter, which is set in the high school, and it was so. It stood on its own. It was like this its own little coming of age first love, of course, love that isn't he's in love with her, but she's
I love that
like 4 years older, and it doesn't work out, and it's tragic and it's sad, but not so tragic because that's just like life is, and we know from the get-go that this won't work because he's much younger than her. And for me, I have to say everything in the first chapter worked. I think this was perfect.
Okay.
First of all, the actress who plays the teacher, she her name is Simi Garewal.
Yeah.
She plays Mary, and I think she's like Marilyn Monroe level of star quality.
Okay.
When she's on screen, it's like, and the movies also, it's I mean, it's an old movie and it's made by a man, but it's kind of like a fetish movie, almost like it's about first love. He loves her, and the movie is made in a way that make us fall in love with her too. She's such an angelic creature figure, and so larger than life. And with the music, by the way, the soundtrack was composed by the duo Shankar Jaikishan. And there's this melody, this tune that gets repeated again and again in the first part.
The kind of main theme, which is kind of tragic and sad, but it also has like this passion and longing, this romantic thing going on, where you always say, open your heart.
Yeah, totally. And I really liked that a lot.
And Kapoor is shooting it very sexy also.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there are scenes in there like where Mary is like...
Yeah, I mean, I was not prepared for how sensual and erotic this film is. I mean, I think this is something like the younger generation says a lot, like something hits different. And I think nudity in Indian cinema hits different because you don't expect something like that. And there's this scene that's so like innocent but also so erotic, where they are playing at a river, and she falls in the river, and then she's drenched in water, and the way it is shot, like with the music, with the editing,
how she stands when she comes out.
Yeah, like she stands on the rock and then she runs away, and you think that's an awesome scene, but then it's not over, and then she undresses behind a bush, and it's I don't know, it's not sleazy or anything. It's melodramatic, it's expressive, but it's also kind of classy.
Yeah, and it has a certain kind of sensitivity and care. Like you're still looking through the eyes of like this adolescent boy,
Yeah.
who's like saying, "Whoa, what's going on?" And who's also like ashamed, of course.
Yeah, who's
and
ashamed
he's also,
because
he runs to church immediately.
yeah, and religion and faith
Yeah.
is like a big part in this because
Yeah.
I think she is Catholic. I mean, her name is also Mary,
Yeah.
and she shows him the religion, and he goes to pray, and it's so big and melodramatic, and the emotions are big, and yeah, the scene with the nudity, I was shocked. I was really shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting it too. Yeah,
And the music was so loud, and then he's running away, and he's lying in his bed, and the editing is like going back and forth what he's imagining before his eyes, and it's amazing.
and the whole story, like they make no, they don't like pull it under the rug. So because the friend, the boyfriend, and later the husband of Mary is like
David,
in David,
Yeah.
in
He's
full
awesome,
knowledge
Yeah.
that Raju is loving his girlfriend
Fiancé,
/ wife,
Yeah.
and so he says, he's just a boy, he loves you, and so the whole first part is about this thing, about Raju growing up and like finding some kind of something to grab on, something to hold on, And love is just one part of this, of course, because like the other big thing that puts a perspective to his life, because it's always like an outsider, but not that much. I mean, people pick on him, but he's also like not. It's not like he's getting bullied all the time. I mean, they laugh about him, but he's also like getting to the train and giving everybody flowers, and everybody likes it. And so the moment when he like asks his mother, "What did my father do? What happened to him?" And he gets thrown. She throws a puppet at him, that clown puppet. It's the moment like where it clicks for him, and he knows, okay, that's my thing now.
That's my fate. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
The scene that you just mentioned, the train scene, was also so special for me. The way it was shot, like the transition of time that's happening here. For me, it was really like perfection. Like she's going with all the pupils, and they're all singing. It's so surreal, and it's an English song.
They sing, and with a banjo on their knee. And are they singing this when they leave or when they come back? I'm not sure.
I think both. They are leaving. And, it was like in a western, like an old western, and they are leaving. And he's running behind, and then there's a scene at the school building, and everyone's gone, and it's just him and the empty space.
For me, it felt like Harry Potter, because in Harry Potter, everybody goes on holiday, and he has nobody. He doesn't want to go to his foster family, and he's alone there, and he just waits till the holidays are over, and everybody comes back, and the fun can start again.
Yeah,
like with school.
It's the same here. They are coming back, and he's again running to the train. Everybody's coming back, and it's so surreal. But I loved it, and what should I say? The entire first chapter was like perfect coming of age melodrama, like really like.
Okay, nice.
I have nothing to criticize. Of course, it's melodramatic. It's over the top. It's dated, but that's what I like about it.
Yeah,
it's
I think when the first part ended, something that something that later like had a little bit of more weight for me, that like I could have guessed when the first part ended, is every part, but we're coming to that also, like every part starts really great. It starts really great. We're getting introduced into a new story, a new world. But when we come to an end, things keep like repeating themselves a little bit, where I thought the story is coming to an end, but he still tells us something. The first part is like the part that does that in the least kind of way, so in the best way.
It's also the shortest.
It's also the shortest. It's like 70 minutes or something.
But I think with the prologue.
With the prologue,
so if you cut the prologue, I think like maybe 50 or 60 minutes.
But I totally agree with you. I think that we were also like just like washed over by all this like Raj Kapoor greatness. You could already like see after a few minutes that he's like a master of the craft, and he knows he knows what he's doing. And so it was kind of cool to see like, okay, now part 2 is starting. Let's see what is happening there. And we get a nice jump in time where I thought, wow, quite a jump, because Raj Kapoor was, I mean, the
wasn't
movie
that
was
old.
shot in like over probably maybe it was shot like over 6 years. I don't know. Maybe the post-production took a lot of time, but it was in his 40s at the time.
Yeah.
But of course, that jump from Rishi Kapoor's Raju to his is like heavy, because I thought now we see like something in his 20s or 30s, or he's trying.
And I was wondering, I mean, Raj Kapoor is in his 40s, but the character is probably late
I was asking
20s.
how old is he supposed to be?
And that's something that you really have to suspend your disbelief, because for me that's, I mean, I knew it. I knew it's from 1970 and Raj Kapoor is older, and I was like, not afraid, but I was like, okay, the first jump in time, it will come across a little bit strong. And I think that's something that is in the way of the movie.
Yeah, you can't shake it off. You can't shake it off.
And I think he's in his 40s, and I don't want to be too mean, but I think he looks a little bit older. Yeah. Also because of maybe the color photography, makeup and stuff like that. But I thought he was in his 50s, actually. And then I looked it up and no, he was in his 40s. Yeah. But still, we start chapter 2 with a really great song.
Yes. Yeah.
He's introduced, and he's living not on the streets, but he's not really doing something important or something big. And I think it's there where we get the Shri segment, right? Yeah. Pretty much
at the beginning somewhere, where he's like, children in the streets are looking in this movie box, watching these snippets from Shri 420. And that's where I thought, like, does this meta element work? I asked myself,
because we haven't watched Shri.
But the thing is, now they watch a movie with. I was asking myself, does it work even in like this meta way, in this narrative way? Because if the person they watch is Raju, it can't be, because he's not supposed to be in movies, I guess. In this, So what? How does this work? So not in the way how this doesn't work. This doesn't make any sense. But how in a narrative way, it's like kind of strange, because we kind of leave the film world at this point.
But we always leave the film world whenever there's a song.
Yes. Yeah, I know what you mean, but it's kind of something different.
It's something different.
This whole movie is about Raju or Raj Kapoor in this way. So, but it was only snippet, and it was kind of nice to see it. Yeah.
It was kind of a celebration of Raj Kapoor, the actor and movie star,
and he's also singing about like where he comes from and where he's going and all this.
Yeah. So the second chapter is, I would call it like the circus chapter. Yeah. It's also what I expected the movie to be. I thought the whole movie would take place at a circus. It's also the chapter with all the Soviet actors and the important
Ryabinkina, who's playing Marina.
Yeah, she's the important woman in this part of the story.
The first half of this second part is also really charming, really nice. Because, of course, we already said it multiple times, but Raj Kapoor shoots this. He's shooting it just very, very. Everything has class. This looks like this is a movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Every now and then there are scenes where you are just in awe. Like, this looks fantastic.
And the environment of the circus always has, and that's like something that doesn't really fit when I'm saying it, but the circus always has something. If you put it in the movie. I don't know, the colors, the fun. It always works in the movie, and it also reminded me so much of like Raj Kapoor, one of Raj Kapoor's greatest inspirations, Charlie Chaplin, because Charlie Chaplin also had like a movie called The Circus. I think it was in the 30s or something. I think Chaplin shot the movie The Circus at a time where he was like getting through a divorce and probably wasn't very happy, and it fits so much into this movie. Also because like he later, at the end of the 40s or at the beginning of the 50s, did the movie Limelight, one of his last movies, where he didn't play the tramp in this movie, but he played an artist who's like getting off stage, who's like saying farewell, and it fits so much to this whole chapter of this like artist who tries to be happy because he's the clown, because he's the Joker, but he just has to be.
Yeah, and
and he becomes. I think one of the funniest things is when he accidentally, more or less accidentally, becomes Ivan Rajovsky, the lion tamer. And it's so fun when he's like getting when he goes to the entrance and goes like in, and he's like looking left and right and like hitting the fence, the cages with his stick, and doesn't know what he's doing. That is so fun because everybody's like, Ivan Rajovsky, who is this guy? It's really fun.
Yeah, that's great. Another aspect that I really loved in the film are the dialogues. Again, only the English translation for us, but I thought from what I got, the dialogues were really like there's a lot in there, a lot of kind of philosophy, a lot of meaning, a lot of emotion, and the movie in general has a lot of humanity, especially in this second chapter, and I was kind of positively surprised how welcoming the people in the circus are. It's not like they are rejecting him. There's this really fun scene where there's a jury of the circus people. Yeah. And he's like the defendant.
Oh, yeah.
Because he lied to them. He pretended
it's like
to be
a tribunal
someone else.
Who's like
yeah. But it's so... They take it seriously, but it's so kind of silly that it's a real jury now for them, a real trial. But the verdict end is, of course, you have to work for us until you don't want to do anymore, and you can freely leave whenever you want. And I thought it was really like charming and so positive. And Dharmendra is playing the circus director, but also an artiste, and really charming performance.
Yeah, it's kind of nice how they portray this, what the movie also wants to say, like these artists, they all like hold together, they're one family. Yeah. And if one of us like needs us, we're there. Because at the beginning I thought the original like lion tamer is like kind of an evil guy, because the when the Russian artists come, he's like saying, I don't want anybody else in my cage but me. But then again, he also becomes like a sympathetic, likable character who helps Raju, and they all are friends no matter where they come from. They all like they all like each other. That's really nice. And also like, because you said dialogue, because the second part also has like this whole very charming part between Raju and Marina where they don't understand each other. And at first I thought, oh man, this can be annoying, could become annoying, but I thought it was all right.
It's on the verge.
It's on the verge for you? Okay, but I thought it was all right. It is, I think it's dragging. And that's something that at the beginning it's nice, and that's what I said earlier. It's like, and then things keep repeating. The story is not going through. All the stuff that's happening, we already know that, and it's like charming to get 1 or 2 or 3 more scenes that like underline that. But then I thought, another circus scene, another scene where they don't understand each other's love, another scene with this. And I thought this was like baffling decisions, because like I said, Raj Kapoor knows what he's doing, but then I thought it's kind of strange that sometimes 2 or 3 scenes after each other are like pretty much exactly telling us the same thing, just from a different like angle. And I mean that not angle story-wise, angle camera-wise. The camera's just on the other side and they're doing the same thing. It was kind of strange when I thought, 4 hours.
I think the runtime really, you really feel the runtime in chapter 2. And like you said, circus scene and another circus scene.
And slow motion circus scene.
Yeah, and maybe in 1970, maybe it was like, here are some attractions, and these are like the set pieces, the special attraction here. And some of the stuff is really cool and really like you don't see stuff like that anymore. The stuff with the bear driving a car or the crazy duck and the stuff
which
like
is
that.
Of course good that we don't see that anymore.
Definitely, but still, if you watch it in a movie, it's like
it's like a jump to another time. Also, like
exactly. And but it doesn't really drive the story. And also, maybe that's just me, but something that I always think age really terribly is this time-lapse effect. Almost all of the circus scenes are in time-lapse. They are always faster, and it's usually used to make something funnier. But here it's just, why is everything so fast? I mean, otherwise the scene would have been even longer. So maybe it's good that it's faster. But it looks so, I don't know, it looks not as classy as the rest of the film. It's like, okay, another time-lapse circus number, and let's get through it.
It just feels odd. And I also have to say, the second part also has like a lot of Joker talk that I thought was a little bit exhausting. Now I know what they want to say about this Joker, about the clown, who always has to be funny. They also like compare it to maybe even like Jesus Christ, because like Jesus Christ is like, he has like suffered for everybody else, and the clown, and but it's a little bit too much for me, the second part, when like Raju's mother is dying of shock in the circus, which is like I thought it was a good scene in a way, because it's a sad scene, but then Dharmendra's character, I think he's called, is he Mahendra in the movie? I don't know anymore. Yeah, but he's like staring into the void. And
Mahendra Kumar.
Kumar. And he's staring into the void and saying, "The Joker, he always has to go on, and he always has to make people laugh." And I thought, okay, now it's a little bit too much with all, because like these every second sentence was how the Joker has to suffer, how the Joker has to this, and it's a little bit exhausting. Yeah. And I mean, it was kind of a nice scene that he has to go out again and he has to do his thing and make people laugh, but you know that he's terribly sad. Yeah. The scene in itself is nice. But the Joker talk, I was like, come on, we know how the Joker is suffering.
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah. So anything else to add to chapter 2? Otherwise, I would.
No. Just we can jump to part 3. It's also
part 3.
It's like there are so many great scenes in this. Yeah. I think there's another song in part 2 where he's like standing in this empty circus. Every seat is empty, and it's just it's just so. It's just telling us so much. It's so nice.
Yeah, chapter 3, I enjoyed a little bit more than chapter 2.
Yeah, it had a little bit more meat on it.
A little bit more meat, and also, maybe I'm just, I don't know, shallow, but the Soviet actress in the second chapter wasn't doing that much for me. I didn't really feel that much chemistry between the two of them, and she was a little bit bland. But the woman in chapter 3, she's Padmini, of course, legendary actor. Yeah. I thought she was amazing. She was great. She plays Mina. First, she's Minu.
Minu Master.
And this is just
Minu Master.
This is just such of these silly movie things. She enters the scene. You immediately know this is a beautiful woman, and they play it like for 10 minutes, like it's a boy. I mean, it's a.
It fits. Even I think it fits in this movie a bit better than in other movies, because Raju is like this innocent character. Of course, he should have understood it. At the get-go, but
it's also just, it's a film code. Yeah. Short hair, bulky clothes. Okay, that's a little boy. But it's just...
And this like tomboy character is also like, has a like, let's call it tradition in Indian cinema. It's like these women as tomboy characters have like a... but it's just a big tradition in like Hindi cinema, I think, especially. Yeah. And so... Yes, but he understands that he's the woman when she looks at her breasts.
Yeah,
at her breasts. It's just
and again, that was something I wasn't really prepared for. This kind of in your face kind of nudity. I mean, we don't see. But it's still
it's nearly there.
It's still there, and it's a little bit sensual, and I enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the dynamic between these two characters. I thought the dynamic was much more interesting than the one in the second chapter. This time also because her character is more, there are more layers to her. Yeah. First you think, she just wants to get through life, but she's probably good at heart. And then there's this scene where the dog gets captured, and he's telling her like, the dog, we have to go after the dog. And she's like,
that's what happens to stray dogs.
And I was first like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. But then, luckily, he addresses that. Yeah. And I was like, whoo. Because she's like kind of an opportunistic character. And
and he says like, what happens to me if you don't need me anymore?
Exactly, and I thought there was something there, like a little bit deeper. And that was interesting. And there is a little bit more like, how do you say it in English? There's a little bit more like between the two characters. You know, there's something going on between the two characters. What's the name?
Friction. There's a little bit more friction between the characters, because you know that Raju like wants the best for Meena, and he's staying at her side because he loves her. And she also like, and he also like does a lot where he's like gets pushed in the background.
Yeah.
It's like, and he becomes like another kind of clown, I think, when he's working for her. I mean, he also it doesn't seem like he does it because he enjoys it. He does it for her, and he's like, you can see like he's like smiling and laughing, but it's not like his clowning. It's like a different clowning where it's like, okay, this is not his world.
Yeah.
And this is kind of works better. It goes on for too long also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of repetitive.
It's kind of repetitive and monotone, but like you said, there's a little bit more in it. And the third part also has like my two favorite songs. The one is like where Raju is like at the beginning of the part is like saying he's leaving. And she still has her short hair, and she sings Angelak Jabalma. That's where she like comes to him, and there's this wonderful scene where he's sitting in these tubes.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's this long line of tubes,
Yeah.
and she's coming from the back. Beautiful scene. That's where she's singing. And of course, the last song where he's singing, where he like he's alone again, and he puts the clown, the puppet, on the floor, and the puppet starts walking.
Yeah.
And there's this very nice transition to him in the circus, to old Raju in the circus, and he sings Janikahan Gaye Vodin. It's just a beautiful song.
Yeah. In general, the filmmaking, once again, is absolutely beautiful. And once again, I'm a sucker for these kind of, maybe this sounds too harsh, but kind of fetish movies. Because once she becomes a woman, there's this kind of magical sari, and it's shot in a way that's like reminded me of Vertigo from Alfred Hitchcock, like this really like fetishization of the female body and with the sari. And of course it's problematic, but it's an old movie, and I just enjoyed it for what it was, and it's so gorgeously shot.
Yeah. That's this nice how she like rolls into the sari. And there's a barrier between us. No, there's not. She's like, yeah.
I think that's probably. There's also in chapter 3 we have Rajendra Kumar, who plays himself, the big actor.
Okay. Yeah.
He plays himself, which is another strange meta element, and he was also not afraid to play him kind of in a negative role. Which was nice. So there's that. Maybe you already said that Raj Kapoor is, of course, very, very charming. He gives a good performance, obviously. But I have to say, for me, Raj Kapoor, the director, is stronger in this than the actor. He's nice as the actor, but kind of, like we said, a little bit too old sometimes. Yeah. He's always older than the women, obviously. Yeah. Though Padmini was already, I think, in her 30s, because I thought, this is maybe a little bit strange. So once again, she looks so young and he looks so old. But it's actually, I think it's just like 6 years or 8 years. So it's not that bad. And of course, it's also okay if someone is much older. But if it's 2 times in a row in a movie like this, it's like, come on.
Yeah, and it's also because like the movie is like built on telling us different stages, or showing us different stages of his life. So it makes it kind of hard to like get through these jumps in time and understand the age. If you're telling us that something happened in all these years, but nothing changed, like really changed in his face or something. But yes, also, I mean, you're probably right with the director being a little bit more like...
Just because the filmmaking was so awesome. Yeah. The storytelling itself, it drags. It's a little bit repetitive, so there's a flaw there. But...
but it's one of those movies where I like I said at the beginning, like I couldn't like connect in the right way and find that identification, but all these like aspects when it comes to the filmmaking, cinematography, the music, all this was so amazing that like it didn't it's not that bad to have like something that you can't really connect to. I wish it would have been better that way, but still
there's still too much great stuff to
highly recommended to watch this movie.
Yes. The film won 3 National Film Awards. Best Child Artist for Rishi Kapoor, which I think is absolutely deserved. Best Male Playback Singer for Manna Day. And for me, and for us, the most important one in this case, Best Color Cinematography for Radu Kamakar. It also won 5 Filmfare Awards: Best Director, Best Music Director, Best Male Playback Singer, Best Cinematography, and Best Sound Design. Yeah, so, buddy, what would you say?
A last thing I wanted to say, I haven't said it before, but I put it in my notes for the first part.
Yeah.
Rishi Kapoor's Raju. The movie could have also been called MERA NAAM Stalker. I thought, but I thought sometimes when he was lurking behind some tree and was looking at Mary, I was like, man, okay, but we all did that. So yeah.
So what would you say in German?
MERA NAAM Joker ist ein ganz schöner Brocken. Mit seiner Laufzeit von über 4 Stunden ist er definitiv zu lange. Das zeigt sich vor allem am jeweiligen Ende der 3 Segmente. Auch hat mich die Geschichte nie so richtig packen können. Aber der Film sieht einfach wundervoll aus, hat so viele herrliche Szenen, ist toll gespielt und versprüht eine romantische Nostalgie, der ich mich nicht entziehen konnte.
Very nice. MERA NAAM JOKER ist eines der ganz großen indischen Filmepen. Voller Menschlichkeit und wunderschöner filmischer, klassisch melodramatischer Ausdruckskraft. Bei einer Laufzeit von über 4 Stunden zieht er sich zwar schon etwas, aber alleine die erste Stunde wird für mich auf ewig eins der ganz großen Kapitel indischer Filmgeschichte bleiben.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so when it comes to the rating, for me the first chapter is like 10 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
You heard it. The second chapter is probably like a high 7, probably like a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
The third chapter is probably a low 8 out of 10.
Okay, but you're not doing this like.
No,
okay, you're just
probably not.
Okay,
But maybe I will do that. So overall, the movie is like I give MERA NAAM JOKER 8 out of 10. It's probably more like 7.9, but I don't do that.
Okay. For me, it's a 7 out of 10. It's more like 7.4, but I don't do that either.
All right.
Everybody happy? No?
I mean,
okay.
if I add 10, 7, and 8 and divide it, probably it's higher. But
you
the
can't
first
like,
chapter is only like 60 minutes.
Yeah, you also
so
like you can't just like it's not like
it's
1/3
not working
each.
like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Jimmy,
Right. Yes.
did you know that the most ancient clowns, of course they haven't been called that because the term didn't exist at the time, have been found in the 5th dynasty of Egypt around 2400 before Christ.
No. Didn't
Good.
know that.
There's so much trivia about clowns,
Yeah,
it's crazy, but
obviously.
I thought,
that's
take
a good
this one.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, you can find us, follow us, and support us on patreon.com/thejimmycage. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like.
And if you want to get notifications, click the bell
Button.
45 minutes.